Oh, brother, you've made it to episode 8. Are you happy? So in this episode, which is the last episode of this series, we're finally going to finish this damn mix. Let's immediately understand what we mean. We have our track playing on the left side. Then I'll quickly load one on the right and show you how I'll make the one on the left disappear. Let's wait for the beat. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 8, the last one of this damn series. So folks, today we're finally going to see how to do a full transition, and basically I'll explain all the steps we've covered from episode 1 to episode 7 to get to this point and wrap up this damn series. Obviously this won't be the last episode of how to really learn to mix because there will be some extras, of course. Let's say that these steps from 1 to 8 will be practically useful for you to mix, to actually switch between two damn tracks. Welcome back to the channel, and sorry for how long it took us to finish this series, but I don't know if you've noticed, we can say we've made a significant improvement in the quality of our content. Let's begin with step number 1, the crucial process of choosing the track. In this particular instance, let's just say we simply throw on a completely random track, and for the subsequent one, we will actually meticulously pick the absolutely right track to make sure it matches exceptionally well. Part of this choice depends on how well you know the tracks yourself. If you pick another track you don't know, you can rely on the tempo, the style, or even the key. All those things we've already talked about in previous episodes. But in the end, if you know the tracks, it's much easier because by default, you can already figure out which track might match with the next one. Anyway, now let's start the track. And while it's playing, so let's endeavor to keep the audio volumes a little bit low because at this particular moment in time, we genuinely need to prioritize, let's say, the precise sequence of important things we absolutely have to do. Therefore, let's carefully pick a suitable track that can perfectly match with this one. Let's pretend you don't know these particular tracks, just like I showed you in episode 1. I then go to sort so I can meticulously list the tracks in a certain specific way, and then I list them by their key, by their tonality. We have the first record, which is Carnal Fever, so by loading that damn thing here. Oh god, okay. I go check out Carnal Fever, which is in key 1A with a tempo of about 141 BPM. So we stay in this area by using a track, for example, Swamp Dancer, which has the exact same key and a slightly lower tempo of 135 BPM. In any case, that works fine, because we won't really notice much of a difference in speed between the tracks. Let's say that if we go more than 10 BPM over, it becomes a bit much. After loading the track, guys, we move on to step number 2, episode 2, where we set the cue point. In this case, we find ourselves with a track that's basically ready to go, meaning the first usable kick we can use is literally the very first kick of the track. Let's listen to it for a moment. Here it is. Hear how full it is, how rich it sounds. It's perfect as the hook for our track. At this point, let's move on to step number 3, which is simply adjusting the volumes. So we're already in a pretty full section of the track, and we can see that on the track that's already playing, the VU meter stays steady at 3. Let's see what happens if we play the new track. More or less, we're also quite steady in this particular case with the VU meter comfortably at level 3, but to be absolutely sure, let's carefully cue both of these songs in our headphones and diligently listen to see if they actually sound good together in terms of their overall volume. In fact, the track on the right, the new one that we've just added, does indeed sound slightly louder, but to definitively finalize the precise volume levels, we first and foremost need to accurately synchronize the tracks so that we can thoroughly check during the crucial overlap of both kicks whether the volumes actually make perfect sense. Without bothering to beat match manually, since we've already learned how to do that, I just set it to 141 BPM, read the values directly from the screen, and check that, in the end, the speed is the same. In this case, you do it by ear. There's no way around it, guys. Don't try to escape. Even if you have the Falchi DJ 3700 Supermaster K2, it won't help. You still need to develop your ear. We get to where the kick comes in and start in time. Now that both of these tracks are playing, you can actually clearly notice that the overall volume could potentially work just like this right now. Maybe a bit more, maybe a bit less. Perfect like this. At this point we get to episode 4, syncing the track and starting on beat, which we've already seen, which I already did by looking at the display. So we'll skip that and move on to episode 5, where we introduce the track. Let's move on to the phase where we take off our headphones and listen to what's happening through our monitors. In this case, I won't do it because, as you've noticed since the beginning of this series, I've always had my headphones on, simply because I need to record the videos. Let's remember the basic rule of episode 5, cut the bass. Why is that? Anyway, go back and watch that episode again. I'm definitely not going to repeat it now. In any case, we cut the bass on the incoming track while the other one is playing, and at this point we get to episode 6. We start on beat and gradually raise the volume. While you're raising the volume, if something's off, I'm going to do it on purpose now. I'll go a bit off beat. You'll notice it first because you're the DJ. Remember that. We make a slight correction. At this point, we have 2 tracks playing together. Now let's move on to episode 7, guys. We fade the frequencies. After giving significantly more prominence to the new track we've carefully brought in, we will gradually and smoothly fade out the remaining frequencies of the original track we're removing until we completely lower the volume fader, always meticulously staying perfectly on beat. And that's how the track was taken out from the mix. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this episode will be extremely short because when it comes down to it, episode 8 is just a matter of duty. Remove the track either calmly or abruptly. Basically, figure out for yourself how the hell you want to do it. The point is, the more you move in time, especially at the beginning, the easier things will be for you. If this gets 150 likes, I'll show you my girlfriend's ass. At least 200. Come on, 200. She said it herself. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm glad to have accompanied you on this journey, your first approach to the world of DJing. Let me remind you that if you want to make a donation, you'll find my IBAN, and I don't accept amounts under 7,000 euros. So if you're broke, feel free to unsubscribe and disappear from my channel. No, obviously I'm joking, brother, I love you. But if you listen to commercial music, get off the channel. I'll leave a link below where you can go to my Fingiverse channel, where you'll find a little digital gift for you, as well as a sheet. Let's call it the free techno lesson sheet, where these steps are written down on a piece of paper you can print out and keep in front of your console. Never skip a step, and always remember to check everything that needs to be done during a transition. Eventually, it will all become automatic, so don't worry. Do this 10, 20, 50 times. It's a bit like riding a bike. Once you learn how to pedal, you never forget, basically. That said, guys, I'll see you in the next episode, where maybe we'll talk, I'm talking about the next episode of this series specifically. Maybe we'll talk about tricks to use in shelters to cover your ass. In dramatic situations, basically, like how to use effects or other crap like that. If you're interested in something specific in the DJ world, for example, learning to play on vinyl, or if you want to see an approach on CDJs without a display, which honestly doesn't change much if you followed my mixing style, but in the end, having a screen is always easier. Instead, I think that in the very next episode coming out on this channel, we'll talk about the electronic drum kit built with Armino. As for the rest, send me a bank transfer. You'll find my email in the description. Bye, guys.